I haven't been blonde in such a long time. Oh, how I've missed this. Let's take a minute to talk about the number 5. This is such an important number. And the reason it's so important is because of the lessons involved, because of the restriction involved, because of the portals toward growth and shifts involved, because of the patterns involved, because of the discomfort involved, because of the negative belief systems involved, or various other concepts, right? Repeated patterns, repeated negative experiences, and everything that truly correlates with, spiritually speaking. When you understand your karmic lessons, you have gained the ability to break free. This requires awareness. This requires understanding. This requires truly being tired of what you've been experiencing. Now, it's important to understand the ego and wounds when wanting to break free from any sort of karmic patterns. The reason being is until you become aware of these things, you will continue to attract experiences that reaffirm your wounds. This is an important concept, and it can be very uncomfortable. But let me give you an example. Let's say you have an abandonment wound from childhood, which many of us do. Now, the shadow side of that wound is that you actually have a tendency to abandon others. You do. And the more conscious side of that wound is that people you engage with tend to abandon you. The wound is serving as a magnet for your experiences. And because of the harm of that wound, you are subconsciously repeating that pattern in your life toward others. The same pain that you so desperately try to escape or hope to escape or yearn to escape from just so happens to become your own modus operandi without you even being aware of it. Think about that. Think about that reality collectively for all of us. And why relationships among humans tend to go a little awry and be quite unsuccessful for many of us. We are reaffirming wounds. We are reaffirming patterns over and over and over again. This is why understanding every layer you can of ego programming, the karmic lens, your inner child wounds, and what sort of behaviors are created because of them, it's vital. It's vital. Intentionally leaning into discomfort and behaving in an opposite manner. Because here's the kicker, my love. Relationships come to us for a reason, every single one. And relationships serve as our greatest, most valuable mirror. And I promise you that if a toxic, tumultuous relationship comes into your life and you pay close enough attention to that being's modus operandi, defense mechanisms, attachment style, and their behavior based on their wounds, I assure you You hold similar traits. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. To a certain extent, right? Yeah. And the more honest you are with yourself, and the more you understand your own shadow, the more you'll get out of it. In narcissistic relationships even, I can recognize similarities between me and that kind of a being. You can. It's obviously a caricature example, right? Because theirs is a lot more explosive and blatant, let's say, more obvious. But when I really break it down and analyze, I do or have done a lot of the same things, right? And if it's not the defense mechanisms or behavioral patterns or modus operandi you have in common with a toxic being, it is going to be you sharing the lack of self-love that they hold within themselves. When we are healthy, when we are loving ourselves, we don't entertain such relationships. There is always something that we need to learn, karmically speaking, when something repeats and repeats again and again and again. There is always something to learn. There is always a reason for it. Powerful. Take care.